independently watching them. Now, to be frank, we're only looking at 3 major review sites. I ask my agents, hey, if you're going to be putting any effort into getting reviews, look at Facebook, Yelp, and Google+. Those for us are the most important ones. But there's a myriad of other ones that even if they were paying attention to those 3 independently, like looking at Facebook, going to Yelp, going to Google+, that's manageable. But looking at 77 other ones, not manageable. So that, I think, is when I first saw review trackers and what it could do, that was my biggest aha. Oh, this is going to make it easier for me to sell that online reviews are important and it's manageable, and then makes it a lot easier for our agents as well. Talking about how much time this saves is tricky because, quite frankly, we weren't paying attention to reviews beforehand. Instead of talking about time saving, what I would say is what this is allowing us to do is think about and actively seek reviews, which is just going to help our agents and their online presence. So I've been talking to some people about a concept that I've got noodling around in my head, which is online reviews is this interesting marriage or this interesting intersection of digital marketing and social media. It definitely helps people in the digital marketing sphere get found online. We know that the more reviews somebody gets on Google+, the higher their ranking is in a search engine result. We also know that responding to reviews is very important from a social point of view, because if I were to write a review of somebody and that person doesn't ever respond back to me, it's kind of like saying, hey, I like your shirt, and you staring at me and never saying anything back. We want to be able to say, oh, thank you. And so that's the social media part. So online reviews is this interesting intersection of digital marketing and social media. We wouldn't have been paying attention to that or getting as involved in that space if it hadn't been for review trackers, because quite frankly, otherwise it was just overwhelming. There are many kinds of reviews. There's positive reviews, there's negative reviews, there's some that are kind of in the middle. They might even ask a question in a review. It does happen sometimes. And so I have a training that I talk to our insurance agents about. So if it's a positive review, the best thing to do is respond to it. People don't always expect a response, but a study that was recently done by review trackers says that, 47% of people don't expect one, but the rest of them do expect a response. And so we want to respond to that review, because otherwise it's that awkward silence when I say, hey, nice shirt, and you don't say anything back. And in those responses, I give them kind of a very specific how to respond to the review, not just thanks, but I actually have kind of a point by point 4 sentences that I want them to say about how to respond to the review. If it's a meh kind of a review, we can still say, hey, thanks for the review, and maybe we can fix the service a little bit. And if it's a negative review, or if it's just a troll, then there's other things that we can do. Sometimes it's, hey, really sorry, that's not how we normally do business, and apologize. If it's a troll, sometimes I say, let's just not say anything at all, because that's poking a bear and they're just looking to pick a fight. And at times, although it's not ideal, that's the kind of person we just want to completely ignore. And when I talk to agents who, at that point, when it's a troll most of the time, they're ready, they're on the edge of a cliff and they're ready to jump off and say, I can't stand this anymore. Online reviews are horrible and I don't ever want to get in this space again. Well, that's where I'm trying to tell them, hey, if people are reading through all those reviews and you've got a bunch of 5-star and 4-star reviews, and then we've got this one lone negative review, and this is usually where I get a laugh and people start to relax a little bit. I say, that's the crazy cat lady. That's the person who's completely off the deep end, and people are discerning enough to see, oh, this is a pretty good person. And then we've got this one person who's really had a bad experience and it was a one-off, or in many cases it's spam, or what we've found is sometimes it's somebody who doesn't even have anything to do with our company. We often, not often, but sometimes have had somebody write a negative review of one of our agents, and they live in a state where we don't even do business. And in those cases, we can actually flag them, and the review engines oftentimes will remove that review. So, I help agents manage that entire spectrum of how to respond to positive reviews, what to do with a meh review, and then here's what we can do with a negative review, or here's what we don't do with a negative review. But with review trackers, it's kind of telling us, here's the things that we have to pay attention to. And of a lot of our agents who, especially with the negative reviews, when they're like ready to jump off a cliff because they've got this negative review or a troll is, kind of flaming them, I like to remind them, hey, this is a one-off. And whether or not you've got review trackers, they're going to be writing this stuff. So the best thing to do is know about it and then respond appropriately, or go to bed with a good book and forget about it. Okay. So as the administrator of our Review Trackers account, I actually don't have a really clear view into how our agents are using Review Trackers, because that would take me actually sitting down with an agent and walking me through it. But when I talk about Review Trackers and the how it makes life easier, the recent integration of being able to respond to a Google review right in Review Trackers makes my conversation about the ease of use a little easier to have, because hey, you can just hit this button